What's up, everybody? Welcome to the after show watch party for New Money, episode 3, season 1. It's your boy, Solo Ceesay, co-host of New Money with Spencer and Solo. We are actually joined by one of the show guests today, Sabrina. Sabrina, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm good. How are you?
We're good. We appreciate you for joining us today. I know that your episode was one of the most fun ones to film all season. How are you today? Where are you right now?
I'm good. I'm down in Washington, D.C. I'm currently still at Georgetown studying for my medical board. So a little busy, but nice to be kind of hermiting down here by the university with some other kids that are studying hard with me.
That honestly might be the biggest understatement I've ever heard in my life. Just moderately busy. For guys who don't know, Sabrina, obviously the co-founder and CEO of 4am Skin, a viral skincare brand that has been on social media all over the place recently, gotten a lot of great press, but she is also a medical student at Georgetown. So she is quite the smart cookie that we have. For those tuning in right now, just know that you can still ask us questions. Text us at 712-NEW-MONEY6, NEWMNY6, to ask Sabrina any of the questions that you guys have. And make sure that you follow us on social channels at Let's Get New Money, and follow Sabrina on her socials as well. But to get started, just watching back the episode, kind of what's coming into your mind. Obviously, we filmed it a little bit ago. How has the NFT market, grown in your space, or in general, how are you feeling about Web3 concepts and obviously entrepreneurship, as we touched on the show?
Yeah, I think literally from July, I've just learned so much more about Web3 and kind of the crypto space. And I think, right when we filmed the episode in July, I was really interested in like coins and altcoins and using crypto in terms of like an investment strategy or an investment channel. But now that I feel like the space has even grown so much, I've become super interested in using Web3 kind of as like a vehicle or almost like a new form of social media in a way. I really feel like that is where a lot of people are going to end up, finding like new brands or new things or new ideas or communicating with people. Like I really feel like how at first a lot of people were saying, oh, what's this TikTok thing even? What's this new app? That's where we are right now with the Web3. It's like, what even is this? But I feel like in just a couple of years, we're going to see people really adopting the idea of this as just another social platform and channel. So I'm really excited to see on the back end how as like a brand and as a creator, you can use that to just increase your own reach and see kind of the new opportunities that are going to come out of it, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think in the last, 6 months, 6 to 8 months, we've seen the rise of the utility, argument with NFTs and, DeFi in general. And so it's super exciting to see how fast the space changes because, a day is a month and a month is a year in crypto. And so it's definitely super exciting, but we actually have a fair amount of great questions for you right now as well. And so, I think one of them is obviously in the episode we touched upon how important it is to have a social presence, right, as a business nowadays. So we wanted to ask you, or less, we have a question in the audience. People are asking about, are there any risks with being so levered to the fact that right now, building a business, a lot of it is about your online presence and stuff. Like, what are the biggest risks that you see and kind of the mispoints, right? Because obviously social media and the algorithms change all the time. Things might hit or miss. Can you talk a little bit about the risks that come with, this new landscape?
Yeah, totally. I was even talking to my co-founder Jade about this morning. Having a huge social media audience and tying your personal brand to a business gets scary in the way of, everyone just has opinions and talks, and unfortunately, people can take things the wrong way, even if you don't mean it to be taken the wrong way. And the ability to kind of get canceled on the internet right now is just, it's so high. And so I think the ability of then someone putting, oh, Sabrina is 4am. You're not no two separate entities anymore. And I think that did happen in the past too, but I think with social media and being a creator or a founder first brand, it's just every single thing that you put out on the internet and every single thing that's said, even if it's in, let's say, a private conversation, can be blasted on the internet and things can be taken out of context. So I think having such a large following and people looking at basically your every move, trying to scrutinize you to bring you down, there really is kind of more of a drop to fall from in a way, which I think is kind of scary. But on the other hand, you have so many more eyes on your product, and you have so many more eyes for free on your product, basically. So there is definitely, the upside and the downside of it, but having so many eyes on you. But I think at the end of the day, it definitely just is more of an upside than downside. And just don't say anything that someone will get offended by on the internet. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, when you're on the right side of that trade, it's definitely fun to say that. But actually, we had your boy Matt on the show actually for the first episode, because the episode went on first, and we talked about the power of the community. And so I guess to this next question that we have, you talk about how having a large community or a large following is great because you're able to get that exposure and those free eyeballs. But can you really talk about, I guess, how do you go from, getting 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, and eventually, from there, like, how would you say that, you're able to, as a brand, bring the awareness about, your company and continue to build that following that's so important and crucial in today's day and age?
Yeah, totally. I think right now, and I think I talked about this a bit on the episode as well, but TikTok is where you're going to see the most growth. I think it's so hard to grow on Instagram. Even as a brand, we've had a lot of trouble growing on Instagram. But TikTok, there's so many eyes, and I think it's really just about putting your content out there. People just want to watch something, and then they'll just get enthralled in your content, and you'll slowly start to develop a community around the things that you like or you're interested in. And I think the power of leveraging it into a brand is figuring out, okay, this is the content that I make. This is what my community seems to be interested in. What can I make that's either like a physical or digital thing that someone that's following me will want to use or take advantage of or pay money for or needs or something like that. And for us specifically with 4am, now that we've launched, we have 2 products right now. We have a rise and arrest serum, basically, and a lot of 4am is about taking these like modern lifestyle risks away from your skin. So we have ingredients that get rid of like alcohol, smoking, blue light, yada yada yada. But what we've done now is we've said, okay, community, we know that you liked our first thing. What should we make for our second thing? And so we're really leveraging them and having just this open dialogue with them, and then creating something out of what they want to see from us. So I think, building the community around like what you're interested in and what you speak to, and people just gravitate to kind of that authentic voice that you have on something that you generally like. And then figuring out, okay, what do you guys want from me that I can basically sell to you? And then, and not as much of a salesperson-y way, but I think that's how
authentic.
At least we leverage our community.
Absolutely. I guess that makes sense. And that's actually a pretty good segue into the next question that we have too, because, me and you have talked a lot about NFTs and Web3, and as, young entrepreneurs ourselves, finding ways to better integrate it into the ways in which we do a lot of different things is super important amongst that community. But I guess, talking about kind of the digital and the physical, as somebody that is, the CEO of a physical good skincare brand, can you talk a little bit, I guess, in that mind, in terms of the thinking behind, what is the benefit, I guess, with NFTs in the virtual world? Like, what opportunities you would see as an entrepreneur in this space? And what is the difference between that and just general digital collectibles, right? Like, talk about kind of the blockchain technology, and obviously we talked about the smart contracts and royalties, but can you talk a little bit more about where you see that opportunity being?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think for a skincare brand, it is hard, and we have been thinking kind of about these ways of how we want to integrate it. But I definitely think like you and I have talked about this a little bit in the past about how having that sense of like the NFT on the blockchain really brings you into this, makes the community aspect that you have online become something that can also be a physical thing, right? To like attach to an NFT, you can have perks of like an event or like going to something, or maybe getting early access onto something, or being a part of, let's say, our like beta testing program, like having different channels that a consumer can basically interact with a brand that's more than just buying a physical product. I think having this like exclusive access in a way that's built on the blockchain is definitely something that a lot of brands are going to utilize in the future, and just a way to basically empower the community to have like a deeper connection with, I think, the brand.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I think you talk a lot about it, but it's also about the power of interconnectedness. And like, as we move to a more interoperable world, having things run on the blockchain for more seamless communication is super important. But I actually have a question to you too, is kind of, where do you find the time? Like, quite honestly, I don't understand. Like, I don't even, like, for those who are tuning in right now, we didn't even know what to put as our title. Obviously, we have founder of 4am Skin, influencer, brand influencer, med student, enthusiast of euphoria. Like, where do you find the time to do everything it is that you do?
So this is actually something I talk a little bit about it on like my TikTok channels and things like that, but I actually have really severe ADHD, and I've learned just from a young age to do everything in double the time. I mean, in half the time that it takes for, I would say, a general person to do it, because I have major procrastination skills. But the one thing that I think has become a superpower out of all of this is that I have also an ability to kind of just hyper focus on something that I love, and that I just chase dopamine, basically, is what I call it. So when I find something that I think is really interesting and I like, I can focus on it for like hours and hours and hours and hours. And because I've also, I guess, had to learn from my procrastination issues how to do things quicker, that's, I guess, how I've been able to do a lot of things. It's definitely been difficult in med school running the brand. I think, we were virtual in my first year, so it was easy. I could kind of go from a school lecture to a call for 4am to something like that. But in the past couple months, it's been me running a lot back and forth, New York, DC. And it definitely takes a toll. But I do say, even though I'm working from when I get up to when I go to sleep, things that I do for 4am are fun. They feel like a break. They feel creative to me, which is definitely more of a release than my med school lectures. So even though I'm still working, it's fun. And yeah, I don't know. I think I would get a little bit of anxiety if I wasn't as stimulated as I was. I'd just be bored and think that I would need to do something. So maybe that's
I feel like we all wish we had those problems, but it makes a lot of sense.
Sometimes it builds up, and I do have my breakdowns here and there, and then I can't speak to anyone for like a day. But trying to not have this happen.
Absolutely. So yeah, no, obviously we really appreciate you joining us for the show and giving us some nuggets and insights. You guys heard it here first. Sabrina was able to give us some more feedback on where she thinks the NFT market is going, how brands are using social media and the blockchain to kind of make some strides into the future. So we appreciate you for joining us. Season 1, episode 3, Sabrina, thank you so much again. Follow her on her social channels. Plug 4am Skin wherever you go. I'll definitely be getting some for myself so that when I go out, I'll be able to have my skincare routine down pat. But appreciate you for joining us. You guys have been tuning in to the after show watch party of Let's Get New Money Season 1, Episode 3. It's your boy Solo Ceesay. Follow us at Let's Get New Money on all our social channels across TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. Follow me on @solo.ceesay on Instagram, @Solo Ceesay on Twitter for more. Thanks again for joining us, and join us again next week for next episode 4. Thank you guys.